Greetings, all you Jackson Jennets, and welcome to your daily dose of donkey with Jinja. It's your boy, the Viking Donkey, coming to you with Steelers talk. I'm joined by Gingy. I'm joined by Laskers. We're coming off a victory, and hey, a victory's a victory, right, boys?
Of
Here,
course.
here. Big victory. AFC North victory. Could have some potential implications down the road. But, Donkey, definitely some mentionable losses. Even if they're not in the win-loss column, definite losses to be mentioned.
That's for sure, and we'll get to that. First, I want to go through some housekeeping things. I apologize to everybody who listened last week. Hopefully it doesn't happen again. If it does, I'll have to find a new way to do the audio. I know about the audio error that happened where it was cutting in and out. I don't know why it happened. We'll try to figure that out and get it better on our side. Part 2, I was asked about the power rankings, and if you know, the Donk Nation power rankings don't come out till week 5 because there's not enough statistics to do a statistic power rankings until then. Also, I got some fun content that maybe will be coming out this week, maybe will be coming out next week. You'll have to tune in to see. Make sure you're subscribed and followed so that you get those notifications when this new content joins you. But back on to Cincinnati. Overtime win. Boz hits the winner after dinking a winner. Laskers, that was your breakout player. Is this the start you wanted, or would you prefer that first kick to be the one that won the game?
Oh, I mean, I definitely would have preferred the first kick to be the winner, but, you know, I can't really blame him. That was a long kick. He did his best. You know, he just, and actually, I blame Tomlin more for that one. If he was on the right hash, that would have been the game winner.
I hear you on that. Let's be honest here. The offense didn't lose the game, Gingy, but did they do anything to win the game? I mean, you're talking, they averaged like, what, 1.6 points per possession, which is worse than what the New York Giants averaged last year, which, by the way, was the worst team in football last year in terms of points. The biggest score was first play. Minkah gets the touchdown. And I felt like I foreshadowed some things when I said Minka's out of control and might lose us this game, as he almost did there at the end. But concerns on the offense, or should I just be like, hey, it's a one game off, Gingy?
I mean, there are definite concerns in the offense. The line has been a problem for a couple of years now, but overall, they did enough to win the game. The defense looked dominant. And the one thing I can say, well, you're totally right, they weren't producing any points. Mitchell didn't turn the ball over, and he didn't lose it for us.
But does Ben Roethlisberger football beat good football teams?
Well, apparently it beats the defending AFC representatives in the Super Bowl.
Yes, thank God their long snapper tore his biceps, because let's be honest, play of the game was however the hell that happened for the Steelers, let's be honest.
Listen, that definitely messed up their operation on the kicking end. You could see not only the block from Minkah, but also the regularly pretty good McCarron, who they got cooking over there. Didn't missed a very
like
short
a
field goal by
32-yarder?
1,000 yards.
Yep.
Yeah, very
But
much
then
so.
again, you know your long snapper's out. It already cost you going into the playoffs. Is this where the Steelers actually outcoached the team? Because you're out there. You've seen your kicker already miss an extra point. And on 3rd and 8, instead of trying to let your super stellar offense play, you decide to kick a field goal on 3rd and 8. Did the Bengals play to lose that game?
Yeah, they did. That was all greedy. We can win this game. Let's do it right now.
Yeah, I hated that call. I hated it from the get-go. Shout out to all the defense they played. Even Highsmith out there with 3 sacks, dude. Got to give him some props. That was a stellar game he put out there. I know it's not a guy who's going to get mentioned much because no one wants to talk about it. But Devin Bush, when he was in there, played a really good game. The only loser I have on defense, outside of the injury, obviously, to TJ, was Robert Spillane. The dude got ran over twice where he had the guy stop short of the sticks on 3rd down, and he got ran over and gave him a first down. Was not impressed. Spillane is the only loser for me on that defense. What you guys think?
I agree. I thought everyone came to play, Donkey, especially Highsmith. Like you said, we need an additional rush attack on that side, and he provided that all game long. Definitely putting Joe Burrow under pressure. Not only Minkah in the secondary, but let's talk about some of the other guys too. Sutton and Witherspoon really doing their jobs back there.
Didn't Cam Sutton like twice cost himself an interception? But I mean, 5 turnovers on the day. What really concerns me, that's amazing. but can this defense keep up 5 turnovers, bro? I mean, that's a big ask.
I don't think they can consistently produce that, but honestly, Donkey, you're right. The offense needs to step up. There were glimmers. I mean, Deontay, can't go without mentioning that amazing catch in overtime. Are you kidding me?
He had a great one. Claypool had a couple man catches. I know he had more rushing yards and better average rushing the ball than receiving, but he had a couple man catches out there. I was really happy to see that. Also, another thing that I want to call out the Bengals coaching staff for here. How the hell did you not challenge Jamar Chase's touchdown before the original touchdown, one where we stopped him on 4 downs at the inch-yard line? How the hell does a coach not challenge that?
Seems sus to me. Bungled it up.
They didn't want to win.
These new age coaches, man, I feel like they need someone else who, like, they can handle the coordinating, the play calling, but they need, like, an older veteran coach beside them to handle the actual aspects of coaching a football team during the game. Because it seems like these new age coaches just have no idea what the hell they're doing. Albeit, Sean McVay, you're not part of this conversation. All your descendants, however, are part of this conversation. But, Laskers, I want to get to you on this one. Okay, so we talked the defense played great. Special teams did enough to win. I mean, Presley, Harvin just killed the ball. He punted well. Boswell missed one, but made one, came back and made it. But let's talk about the offense. I mean, Mitch looked like he was afraid to throw the ball down the field. I think if you look between the third and fourth quarter, I don't think he threw a single ball more than 10 yards down the field. That's not going to get it done, no matter what you want to say. Never going to get it done. But my bigger problem here is, Laskers, Najee Harris looked slow to me. It looked like he wasn't pushing the pile. It looked like that foot injury was playing into this game, and now that foot injury is even worse. Call me nervous.
There's definitely a major problem in the rushing game. I mean, just my quick math, 60 yards rushing, it may be slightly more, but math, when Chase Claypool was our leading rusher, and then Mitch is the second leading rusher, there's a problem there.
True. We saw more Derek Watt on the field this year on offense than we saw all of last year. So, I mean, that's something. I'm not sure it's good. Point I forgot to say, though, Gingy, and I want you to talk about the offense afterwards, was how about that defense actually holding the team under 4 yards a carry?
That is surprising.
What?
That run defense really stepped up, I think, Donkey. They needed to. Mixon is a danger. He's a game wrecker. He can break open, and they did a great job at containing him all day. I don't really know if the Bengals knew to scheme against that for the Steelers. I didn't see a ton of utilization, but they were instantly playing from behind with the pick six. So I understand Mixon not being able to get a real opportunity to get started on the ground. But we did a heck of a job containing them.
The second time in a row, I'm going to say, the Steelers pull out a win because in week 1 of football that matters, because certain teams don't play their certain players through football that doesn't matter, rust was showing like crazy for the Bengals. The Steelers looked like the more well-tuned team. You're talking about a team that actually took the preseason pretty serious. Maybe teams will start playing their starters in preseason games if these just terrible one-offs keep happening. But hey, I got to give it to you guys. You predicted the game right. I didn't. Unless you guys have some last thoughts on here, I'm ready to go into New England and get this thing started.
I just really want to mention on the defense, TJ Watt. What an athlete. Obvious defensive player of the year. Huge loss going forward. I really think, based on what I said last week, splash plays, sacks, the face of that defense changes without his ability to disrupt the game.
Yep, you're 100% right on that. Laskers, any last thoughts on the Cincy game?
I really don't have any. Hopefully we don't hit another upright. That's about the extent of my thoughts on the game.
Fair enough. That was painful. Winning games you shouldn't is always fun, and it is always important for those teams that are hovering around the wild card line. If the Steelers end up there again, winning games you shouldn't might be a huge thing going forward. Let's see into it. Now let's talk about the New England Patriots. A rivalry the Steelers had where they dominated early in the going, but the series right now is tied 17-17. Would you believe that?
Didn't know that. Good stat, Donkey.
Yeah, really fun stuff there.
Yeah, good stat for sure.
No way.
Time to go
I was pingy as
500.
heck. Yeah. Patriots are 4-1 against the Steelers in the postseason. The largest victory came New England 34-0 over Pittsburgh in 1986. The longest win streak is 5 by both teams. Current win streak, the Pats won the last time we played each other. So there's that going on.
Didn't survive the ground.
All right, we can get into
Is that
all
Jesse
sorts
James?
I don't. You might be right. Well, the most recent game was. I honestly don't know because I don't have it up right now because I just closed that tab. But we'll pull it up real quick for the Steelers. Yeah.
I thought that was a game where cornerback Joe Hayden picked off Tom Brady. There had been a game since then. I'm not sure. We'll get back to that. Right now, we're talking about Mac Jones back there.
Last game was 2019 in Gillette Stadium.
Oh,
No, that wasn't. The Steelers
that.
won the last game, I believe, which is what made it 17-17, actually. Maybe.
Very nice. What do you think about their offense, Donkey? New England, not super scary over there.
No, Mac Jones needs time to develop. The fact that their best receiver, Bourne, is certainly just sitting on the bench for absolutely no reason other than Matt Patricia's a little stuck-up prick is neither here nor there. We can talk about it if you really want to, but if they're not going to play their best weapons, maybe they're not scary, but then you do have to remember they have a dual-headed tight end monster that's scary. The Steelers have always struggled stopping tight ends. If Mac Jones hurt, they're going to focus more on the run. That could be really bad news for the Steelers. There's a lot of ways this can play out where it's bad news for the Steelers because while the Patriots don't do anything great, neither do the Steelers. So it's like two teams that are really better coached than talent level type of teams out there right now playing each other. I personally think the Steelers have an advantage here, and I'll get into that later, even with injuries aside. I mean, I know losing TJ's huge, but we brought in a couple capable backups, which is something that you can't really say that's happened a lot for the Steelers. But when you're out there talking, we have to stop Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry in the middle. That could be a big matchup problem for the Steelers, Laskers.
It definitely can be a big matchup problem, especially without TJ. I mean, it's hard to stop someone close to the line, and it's just hard.
That's for darn sure. Gingy though.
Other guys got to step up and rattle that young quarterback back there.
Gingy, the question is, can the Steelers offense step up, especially if Jaylen Warren has to be the feature back? I mean, he didn't urinate down his leg, so that's a good thing, right? I mean, Tomlin said so.
Tomlin's the guy over there, but the Steelers offense has to sustain some drives. Even if they're getting away with 3, I'm asking for, not too much here, Donkey. Just some points on board on a regular basis and allow that defense some time to rest.
Kenny.
Donkey,
It's going to get louder every game
point.
Mitch doesn't ball. It's going to get louder because you have a quarterback with potential to put up points, and you're going to sit him on the bench. I'm not sure I like that
both
move.
Both of those quarterbacks put up points in the preseason, and I am not super convinced that Kenny has a repertoire on a playbook yet.
What I'm going to say for you is one quarterback's been in the Steelers learning longer, one quarterback's been in the NFL longer, and one quarterback got to play with the ones and didn't look as good as the other in the preseason. I like to go with the upside. Is Kenny going to have some learning curves? Hell yeah, but you're talking, we had 6 turnovers, if you want to count turnovers on downs last week, and the offense managed to put up what? 16 points? 13 points, right? Something like that? That's unacceptable. We were in the opponent's territory almost every time we touched the football, and Trubisky couldn't get the job done. Do you want to know why Najee had no room to run? Because Cincinnati's playing 8 men in the box because they know Trubisky can't throw it over the top. I've witnessed that. You can't win that way. It's what got us spanked last year in the playoffs. I like to call it Big Ben ball. It's unsuccessful in the modern day NFL. If you cannot complete a 10-yard pass, which before overtime, Trubisky was 1 of 8 on passes over 10 yards, you can't play in the NFL. I've seen enough of Mitchell Trubisky in Chicago. That's why even with a winning record, Chicago thought it was best to move on from him. Say what you want. There's a reason Trubisky got signed to be a really cheap backup. consider guys who've gotten paid more than Trubisky in free agency recently. You're talking Nick Foles. You're talking Mike Glennon. That's the level we're talking about here. At some point, just like last year I said this, at some point if you want to be a team that's a championship contender instead of a playoff contender, you got to play the upside, right?
It's a risky move, Donkey, with the offensive line that we're putting out there. I understand the skill set overall in practice without the pads on, probably Kenny. When you're in the game without the experience, I think Mitchell gives you a better chance to win right now. Right? I'm not saying on week 8, I'm not saying after the bye that that's going to remain the case, but for the New England Patriots game, I think it's still Mitchell.
Hey, I'll give the offensive line a bunch of crap because the run blocking was terrible, but they pass pro'd pretty good last week when you consider the way Cincinnati normally can get after the quarterback. Mitch Trubisky actually wasn't under too vast a pressure. I mean, yeah, he had to get the ball out quick, and yeah, if he held the ball, maybe it'd be a different conversation. But honestly, outside of Dan Moore doing one little pirouette out there, I thought that offensive line played pretty good in terms of pass pro. Now, run pro, woohoo! Boy, oh boy, did they all get knocked on their keisters, right, Laskers?
They definitely did. I mean, the good run plays were not really design run plays. They're all fakes.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot of that from the Matt Canada offense. I really hope if Trubisky's in there, he's willing to throw the ball down the field, because I'm going to be honest, if I see another game where the second half they just don't throw the ball over 10 yards down the field, Gingy, I'm going to yell so loud for Kenny Pickett that I won't be able to talk for a week and a half, and you two are going to go here and do the show with Micah, because I'll need someone on my end who can talk a little bit. I'll write him little cue cards, because, boy, that... I'm sorry, but to me that's unacceptable in the modern day football to be playing nothing but passes behind the line of scrimmage. It's what cost the Chargers yesterday. They had a couple drives where they just refused to throw the ball past the line of scrimmage, and that just makes the game harder. I'm going to be honest with you.
I hear your point, Donkey. You're not wrong, but forgive me if I don't want to throw my new red Ferrari into a demolition derby.
Hey, man, you ever watch the Cars movie? That's the best way to learn to get your speed back, bro. Come on now. No, not no one at all. All right, I guess
I'm none of us have watched the Cars.
I got nothing for you, Donkey.
All right, killing me. All right, let's get into it. I mean, we talked New England. I saw what you saw on the offense and defense. You're going to get a well-coached team that's always in position, making it hard to throw the ball effectively, making it hard to run the ball. But no, this is one of the least talented Patriots teams I can remember. If there's ever a year for the Patriots to be down, it's this year, in my personal opinion. Watching them play last week and getting honestly manhandled by Miami was a little bit surprising. But how big of the loss is TJ Watt? And I mean, I like the David Anana signing. I mean, he looks like a dude who has a little bit of upside there. And then you're talking Reed's going to take over the starting. Is this defense going to lose a step in this game against New England? I guess is my question.
I think they're going to lose a step, but I don't think that New England is nearly as formidable on offense and is going to come at you consistently as hard as Cincinnati did. I think that the skill loss that we lose with TJ is going to equate the decrease in offensive skill by the other football team in this game. The Steelers got to play a lot like they did last game. They got to create splash plays, got to be good on special teams. And gosh darn it, we need to string some drives together.
I hear you. Laskers, anything you want to break down of this game before we get into predictions?
I mean, we definitely lost something losing TJ, but I think if the D-line can step up to replace him, I think we have a chance. And I think the D-line can do it.
I certainly hope you're right. I would love to see that be the case. So let's get in, and let's start with Steelers prediction this week, and then we'll get into predictions of the other AFC North games. Let's go to Laskers first on this game. Steelers prediction and your X Factor.
Steelers 20, Patriots 18.
X Factor?
And my X Factor is Alex Highsmith. We need him to step up again for a second week just to see what he can do, and hopefully he can, and I think he can.
Hey, I just want to say I might have predicted last week's game wrong, Gingy, but I think my X Factor was the closest thing to being a real X Factor. The offensive tackles played out of their mind. Although Najee did score the only offensive touchdown, I'll give you credit on that one, Gingy. But Laskers, George Pickens didn't show up at all. I don't think he had any stats.
No, he did not show up. I don't think. What was it? Hang on, I gotta go. He might have had. He had one reception for 3 yards.
That's believable. Gingy, let's get to your prediction for this game. Steelers, Patriots, and an X Factor.
Here, I still think the Steelers' offense struggles slightly, but they're going to need to have someone step up over there. I think the X factor is going to be Jaylen Warren. We're going to have to see how he sort of continues to split carries and fill in for Najee. A Liz Frank injury, donkey. That's not good.
His season could be done if they just don't put him on the shelf for 6 weeks. I hate foot injuries on running backs and defensive linemen are the worst spots to get them.
You cannot play with that. You know, I really don't know if he should be out there at all if it's serious. But that's where Jaylen Warren steps in. He's going to have to be the man moving forward. I think the Steelers get it done again this week. Laskers, I like the 20, but I'm going with 20-13. I really think the Patriots get locked down by the Steelers defense this week.
20-13.
That's just because we're gonna be there.
You said Jaylen Warren. Let's go. All right, Donkey's got a fun prediction this week. Yes, I do. But what is it? That's the question. It's easy. Steelers 17, Patriots 15. What can I say? We hold them to all field goals. We get a touchy. That's the big difference. I think the defense sets up the touchy on a big turnover. I'm feeling someone is not happy that his name's not getting mentioned this week. My X Factor is Devin Bush. I think Devin Bush gets the interception that sets up the touchdown. I think that's what leads to the Steelers win. And honestly, I'm going to just keep my preseason prediction on what games they win, because at this point, I don't have to change it yet, because I thought we went 1-1 against Cincy. I just have to flip which game we win, right? So let's go 17-15 Steelers. I just think the Patriots are the least talented Patriots team I've ever seen in terms of a Bill Belichick era with talent. I don't think that an injured Mac Jones coming in here is going to be hard for the Steelers to game plan against. And Gingy, we've always talked about this before, but young quarterbacks playing the Steelers, does it ever go well for them?
Doesn't typically go well for them. The pass rush is too hot.
Exactly. So why the heck would I go anywhere else? I love it. X Factor this week, like I said, Bush. I got to go defense after I go offense, so it is what it is. Let's get into some other games. We got Jets-Browns. Who you taking?
Browns and a slobber knocker, 17-16. Don't need a score, but it's gonna be a slobber knocker.
I like it. Laskers, who you got?
I got the Browns, but I'm gonna go like 30-20.
Y'all are doing way too much prediction for me. I just got the Browns. That's what I'm going to say. I believe Miami plays Baltimore this week. 2 1-0 teams. Thoughts on this game?
I think Baltimore sneaks one out.
They had a couple. They had a couple big losses this week. They lost their starting left tackle and arguably the best defensive back for the year. So who knows what's going on there? Laskers, what are you feeling?
I'm going opposite. I'm going to go the Dolphins. I don't really know how the Dolphins went last week because I didn't watch any of the game, but I'm going to go with the Dolphins.
They just manhandled the Patriots. I am with Gingy on this one. I think Baltimore shows up and play purely because I believe it's at Baltimore is the reason I'm saying that. And we got the Bengals going to the Cowboys. 2 0-1 teams, 2 teams that had high expectations for the year. One of them just lost their quarterback for 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 2 weeks. I don't know. No one's telling me the true number.
Yeah, give me the Bengals on this one, Donkey. I do not think Joe Burrow throws 3 interceptions in the first half, 2 games in a row.
No 5 turnovers this week for Joe Burrow?
I don't necessarily think so. I'm going, and plus,
they have a long snapper too this week that maybe will play the whole game. Laskers, what are you thinking?
I'm definitely going Bongals. I mean, I watched a little bit of that Cowgirls game, and I'm not seeing the hype.
Let's just make it a clean sweep on the desk for the Bengals. This is the time to get some housekeeping done. You guys got any housekeeping items you need to talk about? Laskers, from you to Gingy.
No, I do not.
Gingy, any housekeeping?
Hey, shout out to my boy Minka Fitzpatrick. Said he was going to come to play with a chip on his shoulder. He definitely did. AFC Defensive Player of the Week. Let's go.
Borderline playing like Vontez Burfict, though, a little bit, don't you think?
Donkey, I know you want to ride that, man, but that emotion he was riding high, like I said, that chip was on his shoulder. Yeah, he was getting a little spastic there a little bit, but you don't block an extra point to keep the game tied without that energy. You just
almost cost
them
the game with that energy. A couple dirty shots in there that you know dang good and well if it was Vontez Burfict against the Steeler, we would be crying foul.
Yeah, that same energy brought it into overtime. So you got to take the good with the bad, and fortunately, the dice rolled our way that week.
I'll give you that. No argument from me on that one. I'm happy with the win. I'm happy with hard play, but I'm not happy with dirty play, which is where I have to question how I really feel about it. But you know what? I don't mind it. I like that shout out. My shout out this week has to be, and I know I'm here knocking on him because I want Kenny. But the Mitch Trubisky Pittsburgh Steeler career, 1-0, off to a good start. Can't hate on it. Big shout out to the whole team. Great team effort, but especially Mitch Trubisky. Not doing a lot, but doing enough to get the job done. Say what you want. That's all you need sometimes, right? So, Mitch, you get my shout out this week. That's about time that I let you know I'm the Viking Donkey, Viking_Donkey on Twitch and Twitter. Daily Dose of Donkey with Ginger. YouTube channel. Leave us a comment. Leave us a follow. Subscribe to get all the new content that's going to be coming out. To get this content because you know you love it. And you know it's going to get more heated when the season gets serious. I mean, if we're having these talks already, week 2 after a win we shouldn't have had.
Beautiful win.
It's going to get
Beautiful
there.
win.
You know it's going to be fun. You don't want to miss out. Laskers, where can they see you?
They can find me at Laskers everywhere, and if you want to try to find me at the Steelers game this weekend, I'll be there with the Gingy. Good luck finding us, because I'm not telling you where we sit, but we'll be there.
Nosebleed sections, 500 somewhere on the left side from what used to be the open end of the stadium. Feel free to look.
Here.
Gingy.
Here. This is
I'm
the
a
Mutant
snitch.
Gingy. We hanging out. We playing some games, talking some football, rolling into week 2, flying high after week 1. Holy smokes, Steelers fans. If that is a preview for what we're in for, you better all just buckle up. Get your popcorn, get your beverage, and folks, get your towels.
Tighten
Wave 'em
them
if you
chin
got 'em.
straps.
Here we go, 2-0.
Let's go.